Welcome back to another episode of the Casey Campbell Podcast. Casey Campbell with you, of course. We are pleased to be joined by Titus Sherlock of Crosslink Kiwi Motorsport, of course, driving in the USF Juniors series. How's it going, man?
It's going great. Thank you for having me on your podcast.
So let's talk about how the season's going so far. It did not go well in Mid-Ohio, but what just happened?
Well, at Mid-Ohio, we had a lot of bad luck, and as well as our pace just wasn't quite there. We had two flats. I've never had a flat before my whole life, so it was kind of like two right back to back. Just incidents in races that just took us out early. But besides that, the rest of the season hasn't been going too bad. We had a really good weekend in VIR where we got all top fives and one podium. And before that, Barber went pretty well as well. So it's just been building up the whole season, and it's been going really well. We've been learning a lot.
Okay, so let's go all the way back to the beginning. How did this all start for you?
The USF Juniors?
No, how'd your racing career start?
Right. So I started actually a little bit different than most people. I started in off-road trucks when I was around, I believe I was 9 or 10. Yeah. I did that for a year, and then we eventually had to stop that after that year. But when I was around 13, I went to the United States Grand Prix and with my uncle, and I saw it, and I was like, oh my God, I have to do this. This is amazing. So we ended up getting into go-karting just a couple months later through a friend, and started racing go-karts, and just kind of took off from there.
How old were you at the time?
I think I got in a go-kart the first time when I was 13.
So you started pretty late than a lot of people.
Yeah.
It's like most of these drivers typically start when they're, 5, 6 years old, or as early as 4, really. But, how old are you now?
I'm 17.
Okay. Well, so you haven't been driving for that long.
No, yeah, relatively not. When I started when I was 13, everyone I was racing against had been doing it for 5, 6 years already. So it's pretty hard to get into it, but starting to catch up now.
Yeah. So right after you saw that, obviously you went to COTA for the Formula One race. What happened next? What was the next step?
So I just kind of looked into, I knew a friend at the time that was doing go-karting with a team that was based near me. And I approached my uncle, who's always been super supportive of me, and I asked him if it was possible. So we ended up getting a test day, and with that team that my friend was with, and just went out, and just from right away, I was having so much fun. And from the first day, our pace wasn't even too bad, is because I had a lot of sim racing experience at that point as well. And it just kind of built from there with my uncle's support.
Yeah. So full disclosure, your career kind of started, you're from California, if I'm not mistaken.
Correct.
So growing up in San Diego, that had to be fun. What was that like? What was that experience like for you going out and driving on the West Coast?
The Southern California scene in go-karting is pretty strong. There's a lot of nationally ranked drivers there that are at the club races. So when you're going to a club race, it's all guys that run towards the top at the national level. There's a couple of great tracks, you have Button Willow, Willow Springs, Cal Speed, and there's a lot of great teams, great drivers. So I think it's a really good place in the U.S. to be karting.
Yeah, for sure. Going into that, you currently don't live in California. You moved to Texas, so you're living really near the Dallas area, if I'm not mistaken, right?
Yes, correct.
Okay, so making the move to Texas, what was that like for you?
It was kind of around when we were starting to fizzle out in go-karts, and we knew we were going to cars soon. So moving out here, it was kind of just, we strategically moved here in a way because we knew it would be central in the country. So no race would be, a 6-hour flight. So moving here, kind of as we ended karting, and then that year we started in the Lucas Oil Formula Car Championship, and so it's just a lot better location to be racing from since you're central, and just moving out here, I love Texas. It's a great place. So
yeah, for sure. A lot of drivers especially in the lower levels of IndyCar, and really you can live anywhere in IndyCar, and not like NASCAR where most of the drivers live in North Carolina.
Yep.
Or in the Mooresville Charlotte area. You guys are everywhere. For example, Sam Corey lives in North Carolina. You live in Texas. Matt Clark lives in Canada. Earl Tucker lives in Connecticut. You guys are pretty much everywhere. But is it a lot of commuting to go to the shop and all that stuff, or is it not really?
I got really lucky when I signed with Crosslink Kiwi. I believe they're the only team based in Texas in the USF Juniors. They're about an hour and a half drive, so it worked out really well. They're also based at a track, so whenever you have to go testing, I can just drive an hour, which is most people have to fly, so it's a good situation.
Yeah, it's almost like everything's kind of coming together a little bit.
Yes, exactly.
So you're 17 years old, so you're still in high school.
Yes.
You're entering your senior year in high school, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes, correct.
So is it online school? Are you going to an actual public school?
I've been on online school for around 3 years now. Just with racing, having to be gone every weekend, it was pretty hard to be able to miss 2 days a week in normal school. So we ended up doing online school, and I've been doing that for 3 years.
What's that been like? I mean, because I know you can go and you can literally go from the track and work on stuff and all that. How does that all work for somebody that doesn't know?
So we've done a couple different programs now. The first one we did was I had Zoom classes, and you had to be there at a certain time. You had to get work done at a certain date. So it's kind of more like normal school, just online. The one I'm with now is very, very open. You pretty much do what you want when you want. And it makes it so you have to be pretty self-disciplined on doing your stuff. But essentially, you have a certain set time, a year, and everything has to be done at that end of the year.
Yeah.
But you can do whenever, whatever, whenever. So it's pretty open. You're not missing any classes. So it's good for racing.
Yeah. So let me ask you this then. On a scale of 1 to 10, how are you at managing your time?
Oh man, it's pretty tough, honestly, with this school, because you have to be so self-disciplined to do stuff because oh, I can just do it tomorrow. There's no penalty for doing it tomorrow. So I've honestly kind of struggled with it. I think I'm getting better and better. It's a new thing to get used to, but I think I'm all right.
Yeah. So are you doing any other racing besides USF Juniors?
This year, no, it's right. It's just the focus is all on USF Juniors currently.
Okay, so you only have 2 more race weekends left, Road America and COTA. 2 very interesting road courses, to say the least. What is your focus heading into the end of the season?
I'll just keep building on what we've been doing every weekend, except for Mid-Ohio, has just been getting better and better and better and better. And I just want to keep building off of that. I'm looking forward to both tracks. They're both great. I haven't been to either of them, or raced on either of them, I should say. So yeah, it's just excited to get going.
Of course, Mid-Ohio. The track that I was at is the track you don't perform well at. So maybe it was me. I don't know. Probably not me. But so really, where do you see yourself going in next year? And I know the eventual goal for you is IndyCar, but where do you see yourself in the next few years?
Just hopefully continuing up the road to Indy. Like you said, the goal is IndyCar. Where we're going to be exactly next year, nothing signed, so I don't know yet. But hopefully still in the Road to Indy ladder program somewhere. They do a great job, and I'd like to remain here.
Yeah, for sure. It's basically USF Juniors. This is the series that was just created this year. So, and of course next year you'll get all the technical nuances. They'll get the halo and all that fun stuff. Yep. That you see on the Indy cars and across the road to Indy and Indy Lights, Indy Pro 2000 and USF 2000. By the way, for people that don't know, USF Juniors is followed by USF. The latter is USF Juniors, USF 2000, Indy Pro 2000, Indy Lights, and IndyCar. Thank you for coming to my TED Talk. So let's get to know you a little bit.
All right.
We've done this before. We've actually had a lot of the USF Juniors drivers on this year. We actually just talked to one just a few hours ago at time of recording. But let's get to know you outside of the track, because it's you never know. Maybe someone watching this may be a new fan of you. I don't know. Who knows?
Maybe.
What do you like to do outside of racing?
Main thing I like doing outside of racing is graphic design. It's something, yeah, I really enjoy doing it. I wish I had more talent for it because I don't think I'm actually that great at it, but I enjoy doing it. So it's
Yeah.
probably one of my biggest hobbies.
Yeah. Actually enough, I just Earl Tucker, who we just had on actually Earl Tucker the fourth, I should say, who we just had on a few months ago, a few hours ago. He just actually is big into that kind of stuff. So
Oh, wow. Yeah.
yeah, I mean, is it something that, racing doesn't work out? Is that something you might want to pursue?
Yeah, for sure. And for a while, I was into photography as well. And if racing doesn't work out, I can definitely see that being something to get back into.
Yeah.
And yeah, I enjoy it a lot.
There's a lot of outlets out there that are, looking for, racing motorsports photography. I know a lot of them are out there. I know the podium finish is like, about 40 photographers
Yep.
that are out there. So it's always interesting for sure. Um, let's see. Go-to place for food.
Oh, that's pretty tough. I really like pizza, and locally to me, there's a chain. It's called Mod Pizza, and
We
unfortunately,
actually have one in Brighton here in Michigan. So
I go there pretty frequently. I do have a gluten allergy, and they have probably some of the best gluten-free crusts in like chain restaurants out there. So I'm always looking for them.
so for people that don't know, Mod Pizza is where you can make your own. I believe you can make your own pizza, if I'm not mistaken. So
Yes, correct. Yep.
so you can put numerous toppings on it. It's kind of like Subway. You can
Yep.
get what you want on there. So and especially I know they do have a lot of gluten-free options as well. So it fits right in.
Yes.
Um, do you have a favorite? Are you just so the next question is, I know racers like racing, but I've learned racers also like a lot of other sports too, or they just like racing. Do you have a favorite other sports team outside of racing and stuff? But
To be honest, I don't follow or do any other sport. I used to. I used to race bicycles, so I guess that's kind of different, but still racing. The only sports I watch is motorsport, so I should probably broaden my horizons a little bit, but I just haven't been interested in anything else.
you know what? That's okay. Actually, I've learned that there's a lot of racers who just like racing.
Yes.
Besides, other sports are boring.
Yeah. Yeah. Honestly, whenever I try to watch a football game or a soccer game, I might get hate for this, but like I don't. I think it's boring. So
You know what? It's okay.
yeah.
There's a lot of racers out there that just like racing
Yeah. Yep.
and don't watch anything else. Now, going into the next question, TV, or do you have a TV or favorite TV streaming show that you're into right now?
Ooh, that's tough. My favorite show of all time is probably a show called The 100. It's on Netflix. I've watched it a couple times. Even it's just a show. It's like sci-fi.
Yeah.
I don't know why. It's like objectively, do I think it's the greatest show in the world? No, but it just like I just really enjoy it for some reason. So that's probably my favorite show.
Are you big into sci-fi?
No, that's why it's kind of weird. It's just that show. I just really like it.
Do you have
I don't really know
Hulu?
why. No, I don't. Currently, I don't.
You need to get Hulu, and then you need to watch The Orville. That's my
Orville,
public
okay.
statement for the day.
Okay.
So it's a good show. It's Seth MacFarlane's sci-fi show.
Oh.
It's good stuff. Someone got me into it, and I'm hooked. So, okay. So this could be do, do you drive to a lot of races, or do you fly to more races?
I don't think I've driven to a race in years now, so mostly flying.
Okay. All right. That leads into the next question. What do you do on a plane? Do you read books? Do you magazines, watch a movie, or do you sleep?
I can't sleep on planes. I wish I could, but I'm always watching movies or music. If it's a long enough flight, it'll be a movie. If it's like a hour flight, I'll just listen to music usually.
Okay. Sounds good. Okay. Name 3 things people do not know about you.
Ooh. Three things they don't know about me. That's tough. Um, I usually say that I race cars. That's usually the one that I say, but obviously, you know that.
Maybe the audience, well, the audience would know that too.
Yeah, audience would know that as well. Um, oh, man, that's tough. I mean, I really enjoy my sim racing as well,
Yeah.
and I spend a ridiculous amount of time on that. Um, I can't think of anything. I'm kind of on this.
Okay. So, all right. Everyone gets stumped on this question.
Yeah, yeah. It's
Just
kind of
think
hard.
of something that you like to do that maybe the audience would not like. People would like, oh, he does that.
I kind of briefly mentioned it, but used to race BMX bicycles.
Really?
Yes, and the story of that was I initially I wanted to race dirt bikes. That was like my first passion,
Oh, okay.
and my mom wouldn't let me. And but she said if I was able to ride a bike around a track really well, then she would let me have a dirt bike. So that's how I started kind of getting into like just racing in general,
Yeah.
and did very, very well in that. Won some national races and stuff. So that's, I guess, kind of a different background to normal racers, I guess.
Yeah. And then one more, and you got one more thing to think about.
Ooh, another one. Um, I'm into my normal gaming as well. I guess that's not super unique, but spend a lot of time on
Some
that.
people.
Yeah. Currently, favorite games. I always go back to GTA 5. Like,
Yeah.
just I have the most time on that. I think, or the most time I have on any game is Forza Horizon 3, actually. So always going back to the Forza games as well. So those are my two big ones.
You have a Twitch channel?
I do, but I've never streamed on it before.
You should try streaming on that stuff.
I've thought of it. It would be. I've actually made a YouTube. It's a private YouTube video, but it's a compilation of all the funniest moments with my friends that I decided to record.
Yeah.
And it turned out pretty well. So I was thinking about streaming or doing YouTube videos or something, but I've never really committed
Maybe
to
do
it.
some iRacing or stuff in there, and
Yeah.
you know,
Yep.
I mean, there's actually a lot of drivers that do that.
Yeah.
I know a lot of NASCAR guys, like Anthony Alfredo does that, and a lot of other iRacers that race in the Coca-Cola e-racing series and all that.
Yep.
A lot of fun stuff there. So yeah, so last thing, favorite track that you haven't been to.
That I haven't been to, I would probably say the Hungaroring, kind of a random one, but on the simulator, I love the Hungaroring. I'm really fast there, so definitely my favorite track that I haven't been to.
Yeah, for sure. All right, Titus, thank you so much for coming on and talking with us, and best of luck at Road America, and we'll definitely have you on again sometime.
All right, cool. Thank you for having me.